Hey there friends, what is going on? It's Codiak here, and we are diving back into Minecraft Dungeons because more details about the upcoming free and paid DLC have been released by the Mojang team, and I'm really excited about this. Not only did we learn more about Apocalypse Plus and the Howling Peaks DLC, but we learned a little bit more about the next season pass and future expansions for the game. So let's dive in and let's check out all of the new content coming to Minecraft Dungeons Howling Peaks. Alright guys, so I'm not gonna lie to you, I have been slammed with work. I had a week off and now I am back, and man, things are piling up. Now, just in case you didn't know this, I am not a YouTuber full-time. I have another job, I have another life outside of this computer, and yeah, it's kicking my butt right now. So we're gonna just take this really slow, move through all of the Minecraft Dungeon stuff that was released in a brand new DLC diary. Now, if you want to check out the Minecraft Dungeons diary video series on their official channel, you can do that. Or you can just stay here and I'll talk to you about all of the new features coming in the game and give you my insight, since I'm a player of the game and, you know, I've been around the block. I've played quite a bit of this game. And the first thing we have to talk about, because it's the thing that we didn't know a lot about at the beginning of the Howling Peaks reveal, was Apocalypse Plus. 20 new difficulty levels being added to the game. And yeah, this is just an expansion of everything that we already know Apocalypse to be. We're not adding any new features, we're not adding any new craziness to the mix. It's just harder enemies, higher power level, better loot. That trifecta of information should basically tell you all you need to know about Apocalypse Plus. This is nothing fancy, it's just them extending the life of the game by making it harder. Now, of course, players that don't want to go all the way to Apocalypse Plus, however many difficulties that is into the game, you don't have to. You can continue to play the game at your own pace, and the Mojang team was very clear about that. But for those players that want to keep pushing themselves, want the absolute best gear in the game, Apocalypse Plus is a thing. 20 new additional increases in difficulty coming, and this is all part of a free DLC pack that's coming in December. Now, the next thing I have to talk about is Howling Peaks. Of course, that's the DLC coming out in December, and because I know I'm going to get this comment at least 50 times in the section below, yes, this is a paid DLC. You will have to pay money, and no, it is not part of the Heroes Pass. We'll talk about a new season pass in just a minute. Now, the first thing I want to talk about with Howling Peaks is new gear. If you haven't checked out our other Howling Peak video, check that out, because we broke down the key art, revealed a lot of the information about the mobs and the gear, but we got even more this time around in the dev diaries. Right off the bat, we see a brand new piece of gear, which we learn is called the climbing gear. Now, the climbing gear looks really cool, and this is actually the basic version of the mountain goat gear that we saw on that key art. Now, we actually got to see a lot more of the climbing gear, including the tooltip, and this is really important because this is the meat and potatoes of every piece of gear in the game, and it includes a 25% reduction to artifact cooldown and a resistance to all forms of knockback by 75%. And if you remember from our last video, the wind caller, that wind enemy that pushes us around, but we're going to be able to resist that using the new climbing gear. Now, I also want to draw your attention to the bottom of your screen here. We see two new things, including a new artifact. We saw this in the last video, but we didn't actually know what it is, and we still don't. But we also see some new items on the map, including a big curvy looking sword, and we also see a new bow. Now, if we look in the bottom right hand portion of the screen, you'll see a new enchantment as well. It's 3 arrows pointing to the right. Usually arrows mean speed or mobility, something like that. So I would imagine it has something to do, and it kind of goes in the theme of the Howling Peaks movement impairment, moving faster. There's something there. We're just gonna have to wait and see what it actually entails. Now, not a super big deal, but we also saw a really interesting new puzzle mechanic in some of the new Howling Peak footage. Obviously, we know that wind is a big part of this expansion, and that's really what they're showcasing here, using wind to turn massive stone structures, push blocks around, and reveal buttons. Nothing incredibly new, nothing groundbreaking, but interesting enough, definitely worth pointing out. Since we all like new gear, let's talk about another piece of armor, the Emerald Armor. Now, this is interesting. It increases your attack speed by 25% and gives you a chance to spawn an emerald. Now, it doesn't say how you spawn the emerald, it just says may spawn an emerald. So maybe it's by running, maybe it's by attacking, we have no idea. But what interests me even more about this slide here is the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You'll see a new artifact. It is indeed a book with a kind kind of wind staff looking picture on it, and we'll actually get a taste of this in just a few minutes later on in the trailer. But through the magic of editing and YouTube, I'm going to talk about it right now. It's a very quick scene. I think a lot of you will miss this, but it's really, really interesting. Now, like Thanos snapping his finger, apparently this artifact gives you the power to just make enemies disappear. If you look at this very quick scene, he opens the book and poof, 3 enemies disappear. No idea what this artifact is, what its power capabilities are, but my gosh, is that cool. Just being able to snap enemies away, what a big deal that could be, especially if it does more than, a handful of enemies. If it does 10, 15, 20, I doubt it does, but you never know. That could be absolutely huge and a game-changing artifact in the game. All right, so let's talk about the enemies, the new mobs in the Howling Peaks, and that includes 3 big ones. The Wind Caller, and we've talked about them before. They can knock you around using their wind spells, and you'll take fall damage when you hit the ground. We also have got the Ravengers, which are a newer mob to the Minecraft universe. They are massive, hulking brutes, somewhere between a ram and a cow, and just massive. They will charge at you, dealing a load of damage. And then the Squall Golem, the official name for those yellow and teal creatures we saw on the key art. Now, these guys are only activated once you complete some sort of puzzle and activate an orb or some sort of module in the room, and then they will engage you and attack you. They do a lot of damage, but it is some sort of interesting synergy between a puzzle element and mobs activating, kind of like statues coming to life. So a really interesting mob in the game, definitely something you're going to have to keep an eye out for because, yeah, they're golems. They're going to deal a lot of damage, and in combination with other mobs, they could absolutely be devastating. We've also got 2 interesting neutral animals, the woolly cow, just a variation of cows, very cute, very fluffy, all that good stuff, and of course the mountain goats. Now the mountain goats are interesting. They are neutral and will not attack you on sight, but if you do decide to attack them, they will charge at you. So hit a mountain goat at the wrong time when you're swamped by enemies, and you never know, those mountain goats could kill you. Okay, so let's talk about the most exciting news I think I learned from this entire dev diary, and that's that there is a new season pass coming with the Howling Peaks DLC. Not only does this include Howling Peaks, but 3 additional DLCs. Count them, 4 DLCs for a new season pass, which means we can officially confirm that the game is moving forward. There was thoughts and there was apprehensions about the team continuing to support the game long term. They are making 4 new DLCs, and if we break it down from the footage we've seen before, we've got Howling Peaks, we've got the ocean biome, we've got the Nether, and of course the End. Unconfirmed rumors about all of those things, but we have seen footage from each of them in previous trailers. So I would imagine that's what they're working on. These devs are pretty honest when it comes to showing us something and then giving us that content, so I would be surprised if it wasn't those 4. But anyways, we now know new paid season pass. I don't want to see this a million times in the comments. You're gonna have to pay for a new season pass. This does not include the Heroes Pass, and yes, it's going to include 4 new DLCs starting with the Howling Peaks in December. And there you have it, friends, all the news you need to know about for Minecraft Dungeons as we head towards the next content update in November with crossplay and December with the Howling Peaks DLC. Remember to keep it here at Legacy Gaming, like, subscribe, and join us on Discord if you want more great Minecraft Dungeons content in your feed. And don't forget, you can catch me now streaming pretty much every other night from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, I know it's weird, but hey, it works for me. So hopefully I will see you there, streaming all sorts of games, Minecraft Dungeons, Assassin's Creed, everything under the sun. We are streaming it. So join us on stream. And remember, folks, my name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thank you so much for watching, and play on.